the parts that society has tried to dim down, suppress, or keep contained. These parts go to dim your light, that you're too much, that you're too loud, that this is not acceptable for someone like you. You need to be ashamed. You need to people please. You need to always be nice. And it's a strong, intuitive trusting in your judgment, in yourself. Admired, and I like other women around me who have been able to stand for something and like. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Diana's Talk Show. If you're new here, my name is Diana. I'm a film student in New York City. I go to City College, so I'm a rising undergrad senior. I make videos to document my journey as a film student, but also to talk about spirituality and self-development because I'm very passionate about spirituality and self-development, so all my videos pretty much are about that to some degree. I also make vlogs about my life as a student and just life in New York City in general. So yeah, that's my intro. I want to give some background on what I used to film because I feel like I've never talked about it. So I film mostly on my phone, on my iPhone 14, and I'm recording sound on my old iPhone, my iPhone XR. So the past few videos I've been recording sound on my dad's iPad, and I think for one of the videos I recorded sound on my mom's laptop. So I work with what I have, we're using our resources here. This iPhone is actually the one that I used to make my earlier videos. So I started my channel last year in August, and all of my videos up until like December, because I got a new iPhone. I got the iPhone 14 in December. So all of my videos were filmed on this iPhone XR, which doesn't have the best camera quality. So yeah, it's kind of like, weird seeing this phone again because I was using it to make most of my videos last time. But, I was like, let's see if I can use it to record sound because I have it, so let's try it, see how it works. Also, I haven't really talked about my newsletter in a minute. Like I haven't really mentioned it in a video, but yeah, I post weekly on my newsletter on Substack, and I'll put the link below. But yeah, check out my Substack and subscribe to get a weekly newsletter. And I was sending out the newsletter every Friday throughout the summer, but last week I actually sent it out on Saturday, and it corresponded directly with this week's video. So I think it makes more sense for me to send it out every Saturday. So that's what I'm going to start doing because like the newsletter is directly corresponding with my YouTube, like it's there, that's why I make a newsletter, to update you and everything. And sometimes I share writing on in my videos because I also really like writing. I like to write creatively, so I share it in my YouTube videos, and I post it on my Substack. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna start posting on Substack every Saturday along with my YouTube video because they correspond. So that makes more sense to me. So yeah, I'm gonna start posting the newsletter every Saturday, and as you know, I post a YouTube video every Saturday as well. So yeah, they're gonna come together. So let's get into the video. I wanted to make another video discussing the wild woman archetype because, I've talked about it a lot on my channel, and I made a video about how I see the wild woman archetype play out in The Woman of Daisy Jones and the Six. So yeah, I made that a few weeks ago or like last month. But I haven't really expanded on it, and I'm like, I should have a more general video where I just discuss the archetype because this is a topic that I've been super interested in ever since I read Women Who Run with the Wolves. So yeah, Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, like has inspired this video and inspired many videos on my channel and just like inspired me in general and taught me so much. But I just wanted to talk about it, how I interpret the wild woman archetype in my own words, and like how the traits that I've noticed that pertain to the wild woman archetype and like how it's played out in my own life and how it's helped me. It's really helped me to understand it, and it's been kind of like empowering for me as well. So that's why I want to share it with you. So Yeah, I kind of wrote down notes like to put my thoughts together. So, wild woman, in my own words, is basically the parts that society has tried to dim down, suppress, or keep contained. These parts pertain to like our personal power, and it's also parts that are particularly prominent for women, such as like things that, yeah. So like I feel like a lot of women, like through like the woman, that like these things apply to like the woman experience, like but I think that it can apply to other identities that are not deemed as acceptable. So this results in things like people pleasing and the pressure to be nice and ignoring your intuition, ignoring your gut instinct, and like not trusting yourself. I think like these are things that are a consequence of suppressing our true power and like our true right, you know, like as a human, as a person in general. And I think that when you embrace like standing up for yourself and embrace all the traits that pertain to the wild woman archetype, when you embrace that, I think that you take your power back and you get to live in your power. Like you get to have the life that you were meant to. You get to like just be the person that you were meant to. You get to be your best self, your highest self, and that comes as a result of taking back your power and taking back those traits that were suppressed from you. Like maybe when you were younger, you were told to dim your light, that you're too much, that you're too loud, to that this is not acceptable for someone like you. You need to be ashamed. You need to people please. You need to always be nice. You need to be nice even when even when you're in danger, even when you can sense a very real danger about a situation or a person. Ignore that, you know, like you have to be nice at all costs. And that's also, you have to be nice to your detriment, you know, like things like that is what I'm referring to here. And I think that when you understand the wild woman archetype and apply it to your life, it empowers yourself and others. It's empowered me, and it's also helped me empower others and also like be there for others. So again, I discussed this in a previous video about like the wild woman archetype and what I noticed in Daisy Jones and the Six, the TV show and the movie. And I didn't expand on the trope, so I thought it was about time that I make a proper video dedicated to it. So I have like a list of traits that pertain to the wild woman. So number 1 is speaking up for what's right. Standing up for what's right. Standing up for yourself. I've struggled with this for so long because I never understood how people can do it. I was never able to. So what I mean by this is like when I saw other people stand up for themselves, especially women around me, like when I saw like women standing up for themselves or like being bold and demanding respect, or, you know, yeah, standing up for when they were being disrespected, like, or when others were being disrespected. I always like never understood how they could do that. It was more like I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I was capable. Like I always like was kind of scared to put my foot down and stand up for people, because stand up for myself, because I didn't trust myself in the past. Like I remember like I didn't know if I was right. I didn't have a clear sense of who I was or what I deserved, because just, you know, how I grew up. And also like, yeah, since I didn't have that strong belief in myself, and I didn't really believe that I deserved respect, or really didn't know what I deserved, you know, I was just confused. So like that, I was just like, how can you just so confidently and firmly stand for this, you know? And also speaking up for what's right and standing for what's right is not only like speaking up for yourself or like others, it's also like you have a strong sense of like you stand for something and you're not afraid to stand for something. I think that's like a huge thing that I've noticed in Wild Woman. Wild Woman, like, it doesn't matter about being it doesn't like about being nice or polite. It's like this, it's like, I know what's right and I'm gonna stand for it, and I'm not gonna stand for this. Yeah, like, I don't stand for this, you know. It's a strong, like, not being afraid to stand for something. And like, I think that's something that like is not very common, because, you know, people are afraid to speak up or stand for something because they don't want to be shunned, they don't want to be left out, you know. Yeah, but Wild Woman doesn't care about following the herd, following the crowd, you know. Even I think like there's a strong moral thing where it's like, this is what's right, and like maybe like this is wrong, and it doesn't matter what society or other people may think. It's like, no, like, this is what's right. And it's a strong intuitive trusting in your judgment, in yourself. It's a strong intuitive trusting that like, I know, like, you know, like, I trust myself and I trust my judgment, and I'm gonna stand for it and stand for this, even though it's not the popular thing, you know. I've seen this trait I've seen all of the following traits that I'm going to discuss, like this one and like the other ones I'm going to talk about. I've seen it in myself recently, but also my friends and family members, the people around me, especially the women around me. I've seen, like, I've just like really admired, and I like other women around me who have been able to stand for something and like, speak up about it. Like, it's something that I learned from them, honestly, and something that I was inspired by from the women around me. And I've also seen this in TV shows and movies as well, when I see a character, especially like a woman, like, defend herself and defend other people to stand for something, to stand for what's right, what she believes in. Like, she's not afraid to believe in something. The second thing I noticed, which is more of a way to connect to Wild Woman. This is not really, it could be like a trait of the Wild Woman archetype, but it is also a way to connect to the Wild Woman archetype. It's recharging by being in nature and like developing a connection to nature. So I personally recharge by being barefoot in grass or walking in the park. That is like something that is a vitamin to me. Nature is like it's like a vitamin. It's like, eat healthy, sleep, get enough sleep, spend time in nature. That's something that I think is part of my health as a person, and like part of our health as people, you know. We need to like reconnect with like nature and like our true essence. And it's also being in nature, like when I personally, when I have my walks in nature, it's like a meditation. So it's a way for me to tune into myself. So I don't listen to music. I don't know if you heard that, but it was my cat outside. He's like playing, but I don't bring my phone. I've done like my friends have noticed this too. When I go on my nature walks, I don't bring my phone, or if I do have my phone with me, I don't listen to music. I just have like my keys and stuff that I absolutely need. This is actually not the advice I would give to everyone. Like, stay safe, be safe. But yeah, I just don't listen to music because I just want to like really tune into myself and be present. And yeah, when I get some fresh air, I'm present and I'm immersed. I also try to like notice the details of nature, and yeah, it's a very like mindful and present way of like connecting to nature. And this helps me tune back into my own true nature, remember who I really am, you know, like it's just a way of tuning in and like remembering your true nature, you know. So yeah, I would say connection to nature is important to the Wild Woman archetype. Number 3, connection to your pack. I've made a video about this recently, about the importance of finding your pack and your people. So I just use the word pack because it resonates with Wild Woman archetype, you know. But what I mean by this is like seeing the importance of wanting to be with your people. I talked about this in my previous video, but for me, this sort of like yearning to be with my people manifested as wanting to be close to my family, like geographically. Like I was going to college in Minnesota. I'm from New York and, born and raised, but I was going to college in Minnesota, and I was very homesick. Like I just knew like my support system was not there. It was in New York with like my family and like my friends that I had here, and like I appreciated the time that I had there, and I made great friends from there as well, from my previous college in Minnesota. But I think like just in general, like I knew like where I in like belonged and like where I wanted to be. And so this could be like you just have I just had a strong sense of home, and that was to New York City, and when I was away from my pack, I felt like burnt out, and I just felt like super alone. And that's something that that led to me like being depressed and burnt out, because the wild woman archetype, like the wild woman knows that a support system, community, friendship, and family, whether it's biological or chosen, that is important. Like it's important to have unconditional love and connection. Unconditional love, like having people that are gonna unconditionally like have your back and be there. It's healthy for the soul. Healthy connection rejuvenates the soul. Your support system is important, and it's worth it to build good relationships. There's nothing that beats the feeling of hanging out with other people that fill you up, like there's nothing quite like that feeling when you just like left a hangout or like left the social scene, and you just feel rejuvenated afterward and like filled up. After I hang out with like people that I like, my friends, after I hang out with them, I feel such a strong sense of connection and belonging afterward. It's like almost euphoric. Like I feel like I'm on the right path. Like I feel like in tune with myself. Like hanging out with like the right people, hanging out with your people, it just rejuvenates you afterward. And I am an introvert, and still when I go and be social, it still rejuvenates me afterward, because I have such a strong sense of myself and a strong sense of like the people that I surround myself with. After like I hang out with friends or loved ones, I feel inspired. I get inspiration, ideas, and support. It just is like vitamins. It's vitamins for your soul. Your support system is important, and it's worth it to build good relationships. And I would say that like building good relationships, it also stems from intentional alone time. When you're in your power, that you can be in relation to other people. Like, I feel like when I spent intentional alone time and got a stronger sense of self, that helped me like be in relationship to other people, because like I had a strong grounding of myself. Like I was so grounded in myself and my own voice and my own inner voice, and like that helped me really be more present and intentional with other people. And like that's how I feel like I've built good relationships. That's how I attracted good relationships, or was attracted to better, healthier like friendships and all of that. This actually brings me on to the next point, which is number 4, knowing when to be alone. I feel like also another part is intentional alone time, which I've talked about in a previous video. Like the wild woman archetype, like the wild woman knows that alone time is also important for the soul. Like it's important to recalibrate and remember what your true voice is, and like also it's a way to get connected, get connected spiritually too. Like I think that this is actually nice when you go on nature. This could be combined with number 2, which was the point that I made about nature. Like I go on nature walks alone and all of that, and that really helps me even more, and also like helps me get to know myself more. It's also important to know yourself and know yourself really well. Like what are your likes, what are your dislikes, all of that. And like kind of like being in a relationship with yourself is important. Like remembering that you can date yourself. Like like you can be in a relationship with yourself. Like that's also counts as, that's a relationship, and like that's something that is worth tending to. And actually, I had a final kind of note to make because I just saw this connection between number 3, which is the importance of being with your pack, and also number 1, which is speaking up for what's right. I think like another trait of wild woman is defending your pack. It's like being with your pack and like defending them, like, standing with your people and defending them. And that is also something that I've noticed. I actually talked about this in my Daisy Jones and Wild Woman archetype video, where I said that if you've seen the TV show or the movie, you'd get it. But if not, let me just explain again really quick. Basically, Camilla defends her family. Like, she defends Billy and her husband and, like, her kids. And she's like, she tells Daisy, like, not in a mean way, but she tells Daisy, who Daisy starts having feelings for Billy. She tells Daisy, like, we have a family. We've already established this bond. Like, you're not gonna, just to let you know, like, we're a family. And, like, I don't know, you're not gonna interfere with that, kind of, is basically what Camilla says. And I felt like that was an example of standing up for your pack, like knowing your family, your friends, and then like defending them against threats. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say for this week's video. These are things that I like return to and things that help me recalibrate and remember who I am, remember my true sense of self, And I hope that it helped you. Let me know if you have any more thoughts about the wild woman archetype, if you're familiar with it, or if you have any questions too. Like, that's great. Let me know if you've read the book. I really love this book. It's one of my favorites. Thank you so much for watching. It was great catching up. And I will talk to you in the next video.